Now, for years, I've joked that Tom Homan resembles the Mad Titan from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's talked in a fashion that kind of reminds me of the rhetoric used by Thanos throughout the movies within the Infinity Wars arc. And listen, if Tom Homan had the opportunity to obtain an Infinity Gauntlet and then acquire 6 stones that with the snap of his finger could deport half of the illegals from the United States never to return, you don't think he would do it? It made the hair on the back of my neck stand up the other day because during this press conference, he talked about finally resting and smiling on a happy universe, much in the same way we heard Thanos opine to Doctor Strange and Iron Man in Infinity Wars. I've pulled both clips. We're going to listen to the first one, which is the actual Marvel clip. You tell me there's not a distinct similarity between the Mad Titan Thanos and our mad border czar, Tom Homan. Let's check these out.
All 6 stones, I could simply snap my fingers. They would all cease to exist. I call that mercy.
And then what?
I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe. The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
Which is a clip we played for Tom Homan for years on this show. Now, when I heard him talking about the possibility of retirement, I immediately focused in on the TV, but then what he talked about and how he framed it, you tell me that this doesn't sound a lot like, maybe in the very smallest of contexts, Tom Homan might be a Thanos enjoyer.
I don't know why. It's sick. It's the worst crime in the world is when you sexually assault a child. I mean, the most innocent of us all. But that's why I made a statement that one time I was going to go to Boston, bring hell with me, and the media went crazy. Tom Homan says he's going to go to Boston, bring hell with him. I was going to bring hell to illegal aliens that rape children. There's not more heinous crime, and as you can see, the amount of child rapists we've arrested under this administration, that could have been arrested under the Biden administration. They were out there. They had their final orders. They were out there, but they didn't go look for them. They were too busy releasing millions of illegal aliens in this country. And the numbers prove it. The removal numbers of criminals was the lowest. ICE had the lowest number of removals in the history of ICE under Joe.
Here it comes.
At the same time, you had historic illegal immigration on the border. ICE had the lowest numbers in the history of the agency. That shows the difference between the two administrations. We're looking for every one of them. People want to know, okay, when am I going to retire for the 3rd time? I'll retire when every public safety threat, national security threat, child rape is eradicated from this country. That's when I'll retire.
Maybe it's just me. I don't think it is, though. You know, and listen, Tom Homan is an honest-to-God American hero. You can't talk about the job that he's done. He served under like half a dozen presidents. He's worked in so many different things, local law enforcement, border patrol, ICE, now the border czar. Some of the things he's seen, had to witness, and had to go through and process as a human being are just some of the most unspeakable things you would hope to never have to see. And that's just the honest to God's truth. He's talked about having to pull the dead bodies of children out of compartments after they were trying to be smuggled in, people who have overdosed on fentanyl, women and children both who have been, raped in the long journey it's taken to get from the third world to the United States, and then all the crimes that happen here in the interior of the United States as he's conducted fugitive ops, first with ICE and now as the border czar as well. Last clip I've got before we jump in with Dr. Roger Marshall on this big first 100 days edition of Steak for Breakfast podcast. Again, goes back to the narrative that the mainstream is pushing out. I'm a little bit disappointed in Fox News for even really pushing it after the numbers had been so high just a few weeks ago, to think that Donald Trump's numbers, especially heading into the end of his first 100 days, all of a sudden are just tanking. This is just a media talking point to kind of inject themselves into the news cycle while the president and everyone that's working around him is talking about and celebrating the accomplishments. Let's hear it.
President talking tariffs and the economy.